This is Congressman Shri Thanedar. Donald Trump has already done real damage to our democracy, but defying a unanimous 9-0 Supreme Court ruling that has to be the final straw. It's time we impeach Donald J. Trump. The court said the wrongfully deported Kilmer Garcia must be allowed to return and receive due process. Trump ignored it. He ignored the Constitution. He ignored the very checks and balances that keep our democracy intact. This isn't an isolated incident. It's part of a dangerous, deliberate pattern. That's why today I introduced a resolution to impeach Donald J. Trump, outlining 7 articles of impeachment. Article 1. Obstruction of justice and abuse of executive power. From denying due process to unlawful deportations, Trump defied court orders.
We got to talk about Shri Thanedar, Democrat representative, because as you heard there, he has introduced articles of impeachment, which this is nothing new. Even this year, because Representative Al Green, I'm sure you guys remember this guy.
So today I want to acknowledge my colleague, a member of Congress who filed articles of impeachment. I am proud of him. I salute him. I applaud him for what he has done. He too is laying the groundwork for impeachment. I said some time ago now that this president would be impeached again. I said some time ago that I was going to bring articles of impeachment.
Yeah. He started to do it earlier this year, and obviously that all fell apart. I want to dive into Shri Thanedar because his entire backstory is really strange, to say the least, and I want your honest opinion on this guy. So with that being said, this first clip is of Tim Pool talking about Shri Thanedar, and I actually agree with him. This is just a ploy for Shri to become more popular in this Democrat vacuum where nobody's really emerged on top. I mean, AOC looks like she's going to come out on top right now, but there's no clear leader in the Democrat Party right now. Check it out.
I think you're doing this largely because you want to get your name out there, because the Democrats have no front runner. No one knows who's in charge of the party, so everyone's clawing to the top of the crabs in a barrel to try and be the pick me for 2028.
All right, Congressman. Congressman, you're just doing this because you're a narcissist, basically.
Well, look, in the first 100 days, his numbers are lower than any other president. You had to go back 70 years. And the only other bad numbers for a president in the first 100 days was Trump 45. So people have spoken.
Is that why you're doing it?
People are having a buyer's remorse. People are, I've spoken to many of Trump supporters, and they are hugely disappointed by his actions, by his failure to fix the economy. That's number one on people's minds.
Okay, Carrie, what's your response to the congressman? Because there are lots of people saying this, and the Democrats have got their gander up a bit now. They're beginning to marshal their so-called resistance in a better way, because Trump's giving them a lot of opportunity to do that. At what point politically do you start feeling twitchy if the tariff war doesn't work how Trump intends it to?
First of all, where did this guy come from? No, with all due respect, this is an idiotic thing to do. And it's proving that the Democrat Party has no play. They don't know what to do right now because Trump is winning on everything. He's strategizing how to fix the economy that Joe Biden drove not only into a ditch, but off a cliff. And this is why the American people were suffering. And it sounds to me like this is a political move to try to put him in good graces with the AOC crowd and the very, very far left radical crowd ahead of another election. This is ridiculous. The American people were sick of the previous attempts of impeaching President Trump.
Yeah, we are. And this impeachment isn't going to work. You don't have the votes for it. You don't have the support for it. Like, this is just absolutely ridiculous. But I love what you said. Who is this guy? Because genuinely, I had no clue this guy even existed until recently. I had no clue Shri Thanedar was even a person until this whole situation, right? But ultimately, yes, I do think this is just a ploy to garner more support, become a bit more popular, but then also possibly to pay down some of his debt. because we learn here the FEC records show that he's in some serious debt, man. I mean, you can take a look at it right here. He's got some serious debt, okay? So I don't know. Y'all can let me know what you think. This seems to me like a ploy to maybe run for office, possibly get out of some debt. Because it's not serious. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. He doesn't have the support for it. Even people in his own party are backing away from him. Like 3 Democrat representatives, Robin Kelly, Kwesi Mufume, I don't know, and Jerry Nadler of New York were initially listed as co-sponsors of the impeachment bid, but later asked to be removed. So not even people in his own party are wanting to co-sponsor this nonsense. They're like, nah, bro, take me off. Take me off. I don't want to be a part of this. Even somebody like AOC is a little bit hesitant to come out and say, yeah, we're going to impeach this guy.
We should never take impeachment off the table. We should never take where we see law breaking. We should never take accountability off the table.
But should you pursue it? Should you pursue impeachment?
Should it be pursued?
Yeah.
I mean, I believe that there is plenty of law breaking that should be examined and looked at. But the question is what articles, what would be filed, etc. But I voted for and supported impeachment in Trump's first term because he illegally withheld funds from Ukraine, and he also incited a terrorist attack right here, right behind us. And so, yeah, I think that those are things that I felt that those were grounds for impeachment. And I think it was also grounds for removal. But once again, I don't think that I also don't think that impeachment is something that is used explicitly as a political attack. There must be grounds, and there very well may be, especially in the next year or two.
Yeah, I also don't think impeachment should be used as a political thing. There must be grounds. See, she seems a little shaky on the impeachment too. Like, I don't know about impeaching, you know? That's a little shaky. It's a little shaky. So even his own colleagues are like, nah, cut this nonsense off. Cut this nonsense off. And allegedly, party leaders, Hakeem Jeffrey types, are not in favor of this. So this guy is out on his own. But it gets even crazier than that. According to the New York Post, okay, Democrat congressman calling for Trump's impeachment was once accused of indescribable act involving 118 beagles in his pharmaceutical lab. A Democrat congressman who was trying to impeach President Trump was accused of abandoning 118 beagles inside his pharmaceutical testing lab when it went bankrupt. Rep. Sri Thanedar, who announced Monday, blah, 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 when the parent company then owned and filed for bankruptcy in 2010. Here's some of the images. Several months later, animal activists became aware that the hounds were still stuck inside the since abandoned facility. Huffington Post reported at the time, lab workers had allegedly been jumping the facility's fence to give the beagles food and water. The scores of dogs were eventually rescued from the lab by animal welfare groups that July and later rehomed. At the time, Thanedar said the Bank of America was in control of the lab after seizing it during the bankruptcy proceedings. Yeah, so this guy's accused of just ditching these dogs in his former pharmaceutical lab, bankrupt pharmaceutical lab. Crazy stuff, huh? Absolutely crazy stuff.
Democrats are out of ideas. Congressman Sri Thanedar is impeaching. Yep. And the more we learn about Sri, the weirder it gets. Sri owned a pharmaceutical lab that ran tests on dogs and monkeys. A whistleblower accused Sri of hiding that some of the herbal supplements he tested were spiked with Viagra. His company went bankrupt and over 100 beagles were stranded inside a lab. Volunteers rescued them.
We believe that they have never been outside ever.
I don't think that they've actually had their paws on the grass. When I walked in here, it looked like they were walking on eggshells. They were kind of afraid to walk on the grass.
Sri is a strange guy with a shady past. If I were him, I'd be laying low. But there's no leadership in the party, so guys like Sri can steal the spotlight. But Democrats say Republicans are the weirdos.
I ain't gonna lie, that guy does look a little strange, doesn't he? It almost looks like he's wearing a wig, you know? Which is crazy. But it gets crazier than that, guys. I'm telling you. This guy allegedly used to follow Marco Rubio around. Yeah, Marco Rubio, a Republican. A Democrat used to follow a Republican around, so like he used to love Republicans, but now he's a Democrat.
We have to grow the conservative movement. And that means we have to go out to people that haven't voted for a conservative or a Republican in a long time and convince them of the truth, that they would be better off and our country would be better off with us instead of with the other side. And I look forward with passion to making that argument. I look forward to reaching out to Americans, for example, that are living paycheck to paycheck. Hillary Clinton cannot be the commander.
There he was, nodding his head.
In chief of the United States.
I'm an immigrant like your father. Started my own business and created many jobs. Can you take a picture?
We have to grow the
immigrant like your father. I'm an immigrant like your father.
I'm an immigrant like your father. I started my own business and created many jobs. Can we take a picture? Yeah. Sri Thanedar. Interesting story. I told you guys, this guy is pretty interesting, man. I haven't quite put my pulse on it. There's something off about this guy. And I don't know exactly what it is, you know? Like, first off, he came up out of nowhere. Second, he almost looks fake, you know? Like, the guy almost looks fake. Like, I don't know. There's something about this guy, man. I don't know. Y'all can let me know what you think, though. What do y'all think this is all about? Y'all think he's just trying to pay down some debt? Possibly become the party leader? Gain some name recognition? What do you think this is all about? You let me know. Or are you just as confused as I am? Talk to me. Peace and love. I'm out.